Today I'm sharing my thoughts on the iPhone X, or iPhone 10, or iPhone XS, whatever you want to call it. Play the video. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to My Tech Monday. Last week, Apple finally did their big reveal of the new iPhone for this year, which is the 10th anniversary, which is why they're calling it iPhone X, or because it's the 10th version of the iPhone, but there's more if you count all the different iterations or the different versions of the iPhone that they made throughout the years. So anyways, we're just going to call it the iPhone X from this point on in the video. First up to bat, the $1,000 price point seems a little excessive in my point of view. I mean, heck, why would you want to buy a decently reliable used car for $700 when you can pay $300 more to get a new iPhone? All jokes aside though, I do think that they're kind of a little overpriced on their pricing point for this model. I mean, heck, not that many people actually do buy their phones at full price. I know a lot of people like me do the leasing program where after a year of payments you can upgrade to the next model and you're only paying like $12 to $25 a month depending on what model phone you get. So if you're smart about those types of plans and you jump the gun right after you've made the 12 months of payments and jump onto the new phone that they have out there, then you're not going to even be paying a fraction of what the phone is actually valued at. But besides from the pricing point and being a big Apple fanboy over all the years and always owning an iPhone since they came out, this, for me, really missed the mark, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, I always found Apple to be very innovative when they were making different versions of the iPhone up until the past few years when only the really cool thing that I saw from the iPhone was the added dual camera into the back, which is what some other companies were already doing at that point in time. For myself, I'm not really a big fan of the completely curved around screen. Having larger hands, having larger fingers, whenever I hold the phone, my fingers are already covering the screen as it is, so why would I want a phone that has more of the screen already covered? Especially when you're adding in protection, because you're going to want to put a case on this thing. At least in my opinion, I've never had good luck with anything like this surviving after a drop on the ground without being in protection. I feel like the cases they're going to make to protect the phone aren't really going to do a good job at protecting it because of how the screen is worked around the entire frame of the body or the entire frame of the phone. Also, I was a very big fan of the fingerprint touch ID sensor thing. I'm not too much of a fan of the Face ID or the Face ID to unlock your phone. As you saw in the tech demo display, it did not work. My whole thing with the fingerprint scanner is you have to put multiple copies of a finger in for it to really work to its full potential, is what I want to say. I feel like the face thing, unless there's something in there where you can map your face a couple of different times, I don't really think it's going to be too reliable. We saw a couple of years ago where other phones were trying to do that and people could just take a picture or take another phone with a picture of the person who owned the phone and hold it up and the phone would be tricked into unlocking it. I don't really feel that's safe, secure, especially after that huge data breach that just happened last week or 2 weeks ago when they actually decided to report on it. Anyways, that's not what this video about. The video is about the phone. I don't really think the dual camera and the new one looks that impressive compared to this one. This iPhone 7 Plus had a big leap forward in the front-facing camera, at least big leap forward that I saw in my point of view, my opinion, when I was going from the iPhone 6 to the 7 Plus. There was a huge difference in the quality of pictures from the front camera. Also, another thing that I don't like about the phone is the fact that they did away with the home button. The home button to me was something that was always quintessential with an iPhone. That was the main, that brought you back home. That was your main button on the screen, and over the recent years they've gotten rid of the button. They've done it so it's like part of the screen with a little bit of haptic feedback or however they call it now. I don't like the idea that the button has gone away and you have to swipe up on the phone to return to home. I'd say a good 8 out of 10 times when I'm using this phone and I want to swipe up, the stuff usually won't appear if I swipe up. I have to sit there and I have to like actually dig my finger into the bottom corner of the screen to pull it up. Now, I did think for a while that, oh, it was maybe just the case. The same thing I'm talking about for the top is dragging down. It doesn't seem to catch there, so I thought for a while maybe it was the case. The case was hindering just a little line of pixels or something like that from reading where my finger was touching the edge to pull it up or down. So I've even tried it without the case on, and it still does the same exact thing. I just find it hard to swipe up or swipe down on the phone. So removing the home button for me is a big disappointment, I guess I'm trying to say, from the new iPhone. Also, the fact that it doesn't seem to be any more water resistant or water repellent than what it already is. Granted, I dropped this phone here in water a couple of times. I actually fell into the river with this phone, or I dropped the phone in the river and jumped in after the phone. It's done great. It hasn't suffered any damage from water that I can see at this point in time, but it doesn't look like they really stepped up their game that much more with the water resistance. I think it's just the same exact, I think it's IP7 or something, water protection certified. So they're kind of in the same playing field as they were with the previous model in terms of water resistance. Finally, I guess the biggest upset for me, or the thing that I thought was just not even worth anybody's point in time and developing or money or anything like that, was this whole thing where you could take an emoji and it will animate itself based on whatever emotion you make on your face, I guess, something like that. Apple has had this thing in the past recent years where apparently emojis are this huge technical breakthrough for the iPhone or the next iPhone to come out, so they feel the need to include different new emojis in every single one of these keynote addresses. I don't understand. Emojis are just little tiny pictures. It doesn't seem like something that's that hard to reproduce, recreate. They have so many different animated ones out there now. I don't know why anybody would want to specifically map their face to an emoji. I could be wrong. There could be a huge market for this, but for me, this does not seem like something that warrants being discussed at a keynote or discussed at the unveil of the new iPhone. This is just some secondary thing. This is like the ability to change your wallpaper on the third iPhone, or the ability to have the camera actually work as a video recorder on the second iPhone without having to jailbreak it. Those were huge advancements in the technology on this phone. Having 50 new emojis or 100 new emojis is not something that's going to make me more enthusiastic about dropping $1,000 on this thing. But like I said in the beginning, most people will not pay the $1,000. They'll pay a couple $100 over the course of a year or two paying for this phone. I really wish companies switched back to the model that they had probably about 10 years ago, where when you renewed your contract for 2 years, you could get the phone at a ridiculously discounted price. That way, when the phone was done, you could actually turn around and sell it to somebody else and typically make enough money back to go and upgrade to the newest phone with another 2-year contract. Sure, that locked you in for 2 years, but you owned the phone and they weren't ridiculously overpriced either at that point in time. But anyways, that's just some of my thoughts about the iPhone X. Personally, for me, I'm not going to be getting it right when it comes out. I'm really not due for an upgrade for a couple more months on this phone as it is, so I don't think I'm going to be jumping to the next iPhone when I'm due for an upgrade on this. I might jump to the watered down iPhone, or who knows, maybe they'll even have iPhone 11 at that point in time. Nonetheless, though, that is the end of this video. If you agreed with anything I said, let me know by commenting down below. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. I'll see everybody tomorrow for Gaming Tuesday. Peace.